Hey guys, it's Jo and welcome back to Trauma Talk. I have not done a follow-up video before, but I felt like this one was necessary for a couple reasons. First of all, because I realized I missed a couple things after I published a video a couple days ago, and secondly, because someone brought a couple things to my attention that I may indeed have missed. So a few days ago, I released a video on my response to a video that was released on the trial of Dr. Larry Nassar. This video was of a father of 3 girls who had been abused by this man charging across the courtroom to try to attack Larry Nassar. And in this video, I was really moved by his reaction and was talking about how I wish everyone had someone in their life who felt that way about what had happened to them. Not that I wanted anyone to want to commit violence on their behalf at all, but that I was heartbroken over the fact that I hear story after story after story of people who have told their stories to their family and friends and have been met with indifference or shame or victim blaming. And seeing that father so overcome by anger and by a thirst for justice and by pain that he was willing to charge across a courtroom where obviously he was going to be stopped to try to physically hurt this man who had done unspeakable things. I was just really moved by that image. But what I think I failed to address in that video was perhaps a couple things. First of all, I think what he did was wrong. I think what he did was complicate things for the court, for his family, for perhaps their emotional healing. What he did, I believe he did out of love, but it was also a selfish thing to do. My aunt sent me an email in response to that video, and thank you, Auntie Jenny, for that, speaking on how oftentimes supporters of survivors will mask their own reactions and emotions in order to be there for people who have been hurt. How they will put what they are feeling on hold so that they can be what they need to be. And I absolutely have seen that, and I have done that as well. And I think what survivors need oftentimes is not anger. And I wanted to make sure to clarify that I was not promoting that in any way. What survivors need, what victims of traumatic and violent crimes need, is not to be met with angry or violent outbursts towards the people who have hurt them. What they need is to feel safe and supported. What they need, in her words, is to see the best in people, because they have just been through the worst of people. In the aftermath, what is needed is gentleness and compassion and kindness and every effort to make sure that they feel as safe as possible, even though safety is a very difficult thing to feel in the aftermath for a very long time. And just because someone isn't rushing across a courtroom to try to punch someone in the face doesn't mean that they're not angry, doesn't mean that they're not furious over what happened. It may mean that they are doing their very best to take care of you, and I believe that is the right thing. So I just wanted to make sure that I clarified that I was in no way promoting anger as a healthy or positive response from supporters, or that anyone should lash out in anger or rush across courtrooms or, try to physically attack anyone. I am not on board with any of that. I don't think it's okay, and I don't think it's helpful. And to supporters, I think the most selfless and supportive thing that you can do for survivors is to put your own emotions on hold, is to put your own anger at what's happened on pause long enough to take care of the person in front of you, long enough to do your very best to make sure that they feel safe and cared for, and to be as gentle as possible, because what survivors need is not anger or violence at all. They need the polar opposite of that. And in my emotional response, I think I totally neglected to point out either one of those things. What I wish is that everyone had someone who cared. I have been incredibly lucky, incredibly blessed to have people in my life who do care. Like I said, I've had negative reactions, but I've had people who have also been there, and that is a gift beyond words. But I hear story after story of people who don't have safety nets, of people who have told their stories and have been met with no understanding, have been met with people who make it worse. I want to be a part of changing that, because having people there for you makes all the difference. And if you feel like you don't have people there for you, allow me to encourage you that you truly are not alone. You may feel like it. You may have had no one who's listened before. You may not have friends who get it. You may have had people who have left. I do understand all of that. But there are so many people out there who do understand. Whether it's in online forums to start, or support groups in person, or wherever. People do get it, people do understand, and I believe that the consciousness in our society is growing. You truly are not alone, even when you feel like it. But what I was saying in that video is that I just wish that everyone cared as passionately as that father did. Thank you guys so much for listening and letting me clarify. I truly hope that I didn't confuse anyone or give the wrong impression, so thank you for bearing with me. You guys are awesome. I am Jo Beckwith, and this is Trauma Talk. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please make sure that you hit subscribe on YouTube or find me on Facebook. I release at least a video a week talking about life after trauma and dealing with it both as a supporter and a survivor. So I would love to continue the conversation with you. Leave me a comment on what you think about this and what your experience has been as either a supporter or a survivor in responding and in response. Thanks guys, I look forward to talking to you next time. Bye.